The home of the Berwick Bulldogs. This is W234BH Berwick at 94.7, WBWX W242CY Berwick at 96.3, W282CO Bloomsburg at 104.3, W288CF Danville at 105.5, and streaming online at thisispopradio.com. Pop Radio, a Seven Mountains Media radio station. Just 1 hour before kickoff, it's time for the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio. A conversation with Berwick Bulldogs Mike Bennett and the voice of the Dogs, Jim Doyle. Let's go! Brought to you by Bob Subs, W&L Subaru, Nissan, Mazda, and Collision Center, First Columbia Bank and Trust, Flick Brothers Electric, Independence Ford, Preferred Portables, Mayo Funeral Home, Neighbor Fence Company, S.J. Kowalski, Reds Roofing, Nespoli Jewelers, ND Accounting, Mason Monogram, Eco First, Lehigh Valley Health Network, and Blaze Alexander Family Buick GMC of Bloomsburg.
Well, after a convincing 35-7 win over Wyoming Valley West last Friday at Crispin Field, the Bulldogs on the road tonight to face one of their biggest challenges of the season, taking on the unbeaten Mountaineers of Dallas High School. Once again, we're here with acting head coach Bo Orlando. Bo, we'll talk about offense first, and there was a lot to like about that unit last Friday. A season-high 411 total yards, 5 touchdown drives of 51 yards or more, no turnovers. That's good stuff.
So that's what we've been preaching. I mean, you can't play football making mistakes and turning the ball over, and that's been our strength this season, was running the ball, and Ethan's stepped up. Everybody's kind of stepped up, and we controlled trying to get out of those second and longs and having penalties, and that's what we've been hurting ourselves with, and we played pretty well on Friday.
You played the game without your leading receiver, Billy Hansen. He's out indefinitely now. Other receivers need to step up. I thought they did on Friday. Harrison Snyder caught a pass for 23 yards. He looked good as a tight end. Braylon Hawkins caught the first touchdown pass of his career from 28 yards out. Nice to have other contributors.
Absolutely. I mean, when you go game plan against someone, and the more weapons they have, the harder is the game plan. You can't cover everything, and some coaches try to do a little bit much. And I think spreading it out just makes the team aware, and maybe not just packing 8 in the box and come after you. Another
big game for senior running back Tyler Winter. Career best 157 yards. Again, a lot of credit to the offensive line. You lost Matt Gordner during the course of the game with an injury. You brought in sophomore Everett Snyder. You lose about 70 pounds in that exchange. How did Everett do?
Everett's a smart kid. Everett did pretty well. I mean, it's like anything else, like a learning curve. You know, he's going to get in there and make mistakes, but you can't make the same mistakes over and over, like I said. But Everett's been here, like I said, a smart kid. His brother's one of our starting tight ends, defense, one of our best players. And like I said, it's a good family, good genes.
Quarterback Ethan Lear, besides his physical assets, I think his decision-making has been superb. When he fakes to Tyler or gives it to Tyler or keeps it, makes that decision, it really puts pressure on the defense, doesn't it?
Yeah, because, in the beginning and last year a little bit, we weren't running the quarterback option as much. And, we'd flow one way and everybody would just go over and flow the same way. And then, anything like I try to tell our offensive guys, like misdirection and counters in high school football tells everybody to stay home and play true and play their positions. We tell it to our kids, read your keys. And when they're looking in the backfield and miss their keys and lose leverage, that's what happens. So that's what good football teams do. Did you read your keys and stay at home?
Well, up next, Bo will tell us about his team's defensive performance against Wyoming Valley West. You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio.
Experience a drive that makes you feel more connected than ever before at W&L Mazda. Discover the exhilarating power and stunning design of the all-new Mazda CX-90. Right now, we have as low as 3.9% financing for 60 months on this third-row SUV with seating up to 8, or go swiftly and confidently in a fuel-efficient Mazda CX-30, which offers up to 33 miles per gallon and as low as 2.9% financing for 60 months. We're off Route 11 in Northumberland. Online at WNLMazda.com. Financing for well-qualified applicants only. Offer cannot be combined with any other offers. See dealer for complete details. Ends October 31st.
The subs at Bob's Subs and Pizza in Berwick have so much meat in them you'll be having leftovers for days. The Italian is piled high with fresh slices of ham, capicola, salami, and pepperoni on a freshly baked bun. Bob's cheesesteak oozes with cheesy goodness woven into a mountain of thinly sliced ribeye steak. So if you're tired of bland, unsatisfying subs, Bob's Subs and Pizza in Berwick is your new go-to. With over 22 different kinds of sumptuous, hearty subs, you'll find just the one or two to cure your cravings. And the pizza at Bob's Subs and Pizza, oh, it's so good. Bob's Subs and Pizza in Berwick. Taste the difference.
Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas of Berwick. The roofing experts for all of our listening area. With over 30 years experience and great rates, why go anywhere else when Red's Roofing will get the job done right for your roofing, decks, and siding. Specializing in metal roofs, rubber roofs, and shingles. Most of the work is done in one day. Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas. Now located in Dushore and also serving Bradford and Sullivan counties with owner Harry Titus, a supporter of the Berwick football team and St. Jude Children's Hospital. Call 570-752-4351.
The game of the week is powered by Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute. Compete like a champion with your orthopedic partners at 26 Station Circle in Hazleton.
Hi, this is Shelby Engel, Business and Marketing Manager with Rocky Auctions. When you make a purchase at a local business, 50% of those dollars stay right here in our community. Local is better.
You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio with the voice of the Berwick Bulldogs, Jim Doyle.
Tonight, the Bulldogs are in the area called the Back Mountain to take on the unbeaten Mountaineers of Dallas. Dogs coming off their second win of the season. Last Friday's 35-7 win over Wyoming Valley West at Crispin Field. It was the second time in the last 3 games that Berwick's defense held the opposition to just 7 points. Bo, your team's defense limited Wyoming Valley West's offense to just 105 total yards. What did you do well on defense?
We ran to the ball a little bit better. You know, we made some plays and running to the ball. We still made a lot of mistakes. I mean, that's still our weaker part of the offense and defense. But they got better. Like I told them, you're going to make a mistake, you're making 100%. You run to the ball and make plays. And you know, they swarmed to the ball, and that's the key.
Your team may not be as physical as you'd like them to be, but they're certainly much more physical than they were at the start of the season. What accounts for that? Just tell your team, hey, be more physical? Well,
you know, it's just you kind of simplify things for them, kind of dummy stuff down, don't run as many stunts and kind of be complicated. You want your guys to react. You don't want your guys to think. If you're thinking out there, I mean, you lose because you know, Jim, as well as I do, it's 1 or 2 seconds and then the play's done. So we're just trying to get our guys in the right place, use their hands, do the things we've been telling them the whole year. They're getting better every game, and that's what I told them. I just said we have to. You know, we weren't physical the first 2 games. We actually were horrible, and. But every game we've been getting a little bit better and a little bit better. And once they realize they can't make those same mistakes over and over again, we'll be a little bit better.
Going into that game last Friday, you had concerns about the safety positions. Who took most of the snaps and how did they do?
Caleb, you know, it's Caleb's second game that he was starting. Caleb May. And Braylon Hawkins came back for us and has been playing well. He's been playing linebacker and outside linebacker most of his career, so it's a little bit different spot. But he's an aggressive kid. So like I said, those guys are going to continue to get better every week.
Wyoming Valley West would not have scored at all were it not for a 36-yard punt return that put him in business. Makai Wells got a handoff from Jonathan Otway. Heads-up play by Otway or a misstep by your special teams?
Well, I mean, a little bit of both. I mean, it was a great play by those guys going down, and everybody was conversing on him. But then, you know, he handed it off, kind of like I thought he pitched it to him, but he handed it off to him, and that just goes to show our guys to hold and contain. I mean, regardless who makes the tackle, you still got to hold your contain and fan out. We didn't fan out as much, and but it didn't hurt us in the end. But you know, getting back to coming to play Dallas, who's a very, very well-coached team, you can't make those kind of mistakes.
Luke Peters has been very, very consistent with his place kicking. Missed a couple early in the season, has a nice streak going now. As far as his kickoffs are concerned, a lot of the kickoffs have come up short. By design?
Yeah, by design. We like to pooch, to certain spots. We don't want any big runs, and then our guys have been running hard and kind of conversing. We practice that a little bit. So, that's a practice thing. We just, Luke's got a pretty good leg, and he can kick it. I don't think out of the end zone, but I just like this a little bit before they're kind of shortens down the field for us.
Later in the show, Bo will tell us about tonight's opponent, Dallas. But up next, the Bulldog Spotlight feature You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio.
Drive your new GMC home today. New vehicles have been hard to come by. So at Alexander Family Buick GMC, we've been telling you to reserve your new GMC truck or SUV. But with 25 new GMCs in stock now and 25 more to arrive soon, you don't have to reserve one. You can drive one home today. And with the highest trade values, the lowest rates, and the Blaze Alexander lowest price guaranteed, now is the time to drive one off our lot. Shop online where we're always open. Alexander Family Buick GMC in Bloomsburg. Taking the deals the other guys won't.
Proud sponsor of Penn State Athletics.
Hey, Scott, what are you doing up there?
I'm building an observation deck.
That thing must be 50 feet high.
52 to be exact. You know, I can see all the way to your backyard thanks to Larry's Lumber.
Larry's Lumber?
Yeah, I told them what I wanted to do, and they set me up with the AZEC decking, Pittsburgh paint, Makita embossage tools, everything to put it all together. Oh, and the straightest boards you've ever seen. I even heard a good joke by old Larry.
Well, how many trips did it take you?
None. Larry's Lumber delivered everything.
I think I'll go to Larry's Lumber.
What are you building?
I'm going to raise my fence to keep you from looking into my yard.
Larry's Lumber has been helping the good folks of the Susquehanna Valley with their projects since 1988. Whether you're a contractor or just doing it yourself, Larry's Lumber has the know-how, equipment, and material to get you going. And hey, their boards are just straighter. Pickup, delivery, knowledge, and great prices, minus the big box headaches. Larry's Lumber, 64 Red Mill Road, Bloomsburg.
Calling all restaurants,
bakeries,
chocolatiers,
caterers,
and Willy Wonka wannabes.
You're invited to participate in the most decadent, deliciously rich, and satisfying event of the year.
Our third annual Chocolate and Wine Festival, November 5th at the Pine Barn Inn.
It's free to participate, and vendors can sell their own wine and chocolates.
Space is limited.
So sign up today to be a vendor at our third annual Chocolate and Wine Festival to benefit the Ronald McDonald House. Visit chocolateandwinefest.com.
That's chocolateandwinefest.com.
You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio with the voice of the Berwick Bulldogs, Jim Doyle.
Tonight marks the 27th meeting between Berwick and Dallas. This one to be played at Mountaineer Stadium. In our next segment, Bo will tell us about why Dallas is unbeaten. But now it's time for our weekly feature Bulldog Spotlight. Tonight, the spotlight is on senior fullback linebacker Jimmy DeAndrea. Whether it's on offense or defense, it seems to me, Bo, from watching Jimmy, that he always plays an extremely physical brand of football.
Jimmy's probably one of our most physical, players, and probably one of our fastest players of that. It's kind of hard to see, but I know I don't know if you were around for our scrimmage when he broke a 70-yard run. Jimmy's big and powerful. We just got to get Jimmy going in the right place, and you just got to get him going.
5'11", 195, decent size for a high school fullback. You mentioned his speed. That's what probably separates him from most high school fullbacks. And, yeah, he had that long run in the preseason scrimmage against Central. He had the longest play of the game against Southern Columbia. It was called back with a penalty. So seems to me it's just sooner or later he's going to break one.
Yeah, I mean, give Jimmy the ball. And it's tough as a fullback because you're by yourself. You're not getting any lead blocks and everything. So what Jimmy does is, he's got a good line in front of him, but Jimmy makes a lot on his own. I mean, he had some runs on the outside that he punished one of the DBs. They tried to come up and he punishes them. So when you tackle Jimmy, you're in a ball game because he's a punisher.
Well, he's a two-way player. What does he bring to the table as a linebacker?
Well, like that speed, sideline to sideline, and we've been blitzing him a lot, kind of run-throughs, and he makes some plays for us in the backfield. So, you know as well as I do, speed kills. And, I mean, when you have a kid that size that can run like that, you just have to utilize him.
In the Bulldog Spotlight, senior running back and linebacker Jimmy DeAndrea. Tonight, Jimmy and his Bulldog teammates take on unbeaten Dallas here in the Back Mountain. Up next, Bo will tell us about the Mountaineers' offense. You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio.
Jim Doyle and the Berwick Bulldogs Coach Mike Bennett Show. Brought to you by Bob Subs, W&L Subaru, Nissan, Mazda, and Collision Center, First Columbia Bank and Trust, Wood Brothers Electric, Independence Ford, Preferred Portables, Mayo Funeral Home, Neighbor Fence Company, S.J. Kowalski, Reds Roofing, Nespoli Jewelers, ND Accounting, Mason Monogram, Eco First, Lehigh Valley Health Network, and Blaze Alexander Family Buick GMC of Bloomsburg. The Coach Bennett Show, only right here on Pop Radio.
The Mayo Funeral Homes, located at 110 Chestnut Street in Berwick and 77 Main Street in Chickashinny, are proud sponsors of Berwick Bulldog football. The Mayo Funeral Homes, serving all faiths, makes it easier for those you love with prearranged funeral counseling, insurance, and pre-financed funerals. Mayo Funeral Homes also offers expert guidance in both traditional and cremation services. Mayo Funeral Homes, perfection in every detail.
As a community bank, First Columbia Bank and Trust knows the value of helping our young people dream, excel, and reach their goals. For more than 120 years, First Columbia has been committed to helping our communities prosper and our youth succeed. We're proud to invest in our youth through athletics, the arts, and education. First Columbia Bank and Trust, with you and your children every step of the way.
Every step of the way, First Columbia Bank.
Save today on a great selection of the best appliance brands and discover top-notch service at Flick Brothers Electric in Bloomsburg. Browse their showroom, which features appliances in a variety of different kitchen configurations and offers appliances and water heaters for every budget. Flick Brothers showcases top names like GE and GE Monogram, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, KitchenAid, Maytag, Sharp, Amana, and built in the USA Speed Queen and Viking appliances. Flick Brothers Electric, Maple Lane, Bloomsburg for over 65 years. Call 570-784-3444.
Hi, this is Jonathan from Nespoli Jewelers in Berwick. We are happy to announce that once again we will have the Nespoli Jewelers Athlete of the Week throughout this football season. Each week, the Berwick coaches will choose an athlete who worked hard, was a good teammate, and put forth his best effort all week. We will announce this student athlete on this station prior to the Berwick football game, and we will be honoring him by donating $100 in his name to the charity of his choice. For more information on the chosen Nespoli Athlete of the Week, please visit us on our Instagram and Facebook pages.
You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio with the voice of the Berwick Bulldogs, Jim Doyle.
Mountaineer Stadium at Dallas High School is the venue for tonight's game as the Bulldogs take on a Dallas team that is 6-0. Offensively, the Mountaineers are averaging over 40 points a game with a good mix of the run and pass. But let's start with their running game. They list a fullback and a tailback. Does that mean we'll see a lot of I formation?
You'll see a little bit of everything. He spreads it. He used to be a lot of big eye, but he'll spread a little bit, but he still wants to run the ball. I mean, Dallas is a powerful team, very well coached, and Richie's mainstay is running the ball.
Their leading rusher is 5'10", 205-pound junior Dylan Geske, who has 615 yards. He's averaging over 7 yards a carry. Describe him.
They always got, it was Kelly from a few years ago, wasn't that big. They always got tough kids. I mean, like I said, Richie just does a great job in the weight room. It doesn't really matter what their size. They're just tough kids. They're aggressive, and they're tough kids. And this kid's at 5'10", 205. That's a pretty big running back for high school, and being punishing like that. So that's someone we definitely have to stop.
Well, if they do have him at fullback, they'll have number 9, a junior Mike Lewis, at the tailback. He's just 5'7", 160. I assume a different style of running back.
A little bit quicker, a little bit dasher, but like again, Kelly wasn't that big a few years ago, and Kelly was a punishing runner. He was a north and south runner, and that's something he does. So it's nothing that's the weight or anything can do. They're just tough kids.
They have a very talented quarterback, and Brady Zapaticki, his brother, was a terrific quarterback at Dallas and later at Shippensburg University. We'll talk about his passing, but he has some good rushing numbers, 4.4 a carry and 29 attempts. Scrambles are called running plays.
More or less scrambles. I mean, they have a little bit of option, but they stick to traditional running of football. But he'll open up a little bit. They'll slot open, and guys will go down. And then he's a good runner, so he'll take advantage of that. Getting out of the pocket, and moves very, very well.
As a passer, he's completed 58% of his passes, 917 yards. Maybe the most impressive number, 16 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. You've faced some good quarterbacks this season. He's another one.
Yeah, like I said, this overall, I mean, he's a dual threat. Like we talked about having a runner and a passer, and he does a good enough job with that offense that he's a weapon, and it's definitely a concern of ours.
I think they have 4 or 5 people that have caught touchdown passes from Zapaticki. But Zach Pacheski appears to be the main man. 5'8", 175, a senior, 23 catches on the season, 539 yards, and 9 touchdown receptions in just 6 games. Obviously, you're defense needs to keep an eye on number 3.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's obviously got some speed at that size. Catching those touchdowns and doing everything. He's got a little bit of speed, so that's a big concern for us. But like overall, I mean, you don't really get a break with them. I mean, they can hurt you in any way. They can run the football on you, and they can throw the football, and then the quarterback can scramble and run. So there's a lot of threats there that we have to be on our game and not make many mistakes.
The biggest offensive concern that head coach Rich Manella had coming into this season was the offensive line, because 4 of their 5 starters from last year graduated. What do you see from that group?
Aggressive. You know what I mean? Even though they're not as big and as the usual Dallas line, they're aggressive. They get their hands on you. They move very well. They like to pull 2 guards or pull 2 people at you one time and do a lot of counters. And they're just very well coached. I mean, I don't care. Rich does such a good job. I don't care who he puts in there, whether it's a 5'9", 190 guy, with his technique and his aggressiveness that they play with, they're always very well.
Up next, Bo will evaluate the Dallas defense. You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio.
Looking for convenient and reliable dumpster rentals for your residential or commercial project? EcoFirst Logistics has you covered with dumpster rentals from Bloomsburg to Hazleton and surrounding areas. Their dumpster rental service is designed to make waste disposal easy, hassle-free, and eco-friendly. Whether you're planning a construction or renovation project, junk removal, or a major cleanup, they carry a range of dumpster sizes to fit your needs and ensure that what can be saved is sorted out. On the web at eco-firstlogistics.com or on Facebook.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh, I might cry.
Hey, that's Jen Mapes from Mapes Farm Fresh in New Berlin. They're one of this year's recipients in the Seven Mountains Media Local Business Grant.
We're a very small family dairy farm, and I know this $10,000 grant's really going to help us out.
The Seven Mountains Media Local Business Grant is proudly supported by these amazing local businesses: W&L, Subaru, Mazda, Nissan, Rocky Auctions, and Wise Markets.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio with the voice of the Berwick Bulldogs, Jim Doyle.
For the second straight season, Dallas is 6-0 coming into their game against Berwick. Last season at Crispin Field, the Bulldogs knocked off the Mountaineers 39-22. The Dogs were 3-3 going into that game. Tonight they bring a 2-4 record in the game here at Mountaineer Stadium. Bo, in the 2-deep that Dallas coach Rich Manella sent me, he lists a 3-4 base defense featuring 4 linebackers. Does that morph into a 5-2?
Yeah, I mean, he does a little bit like what other people do. He'll bring a linebacker down. If we spread him out, he'll pull that linebacker out and they'll run a 4-3. But if you tighten up the box a little bit, they'll bring a guy down looking like a 5-2. So it varies. And a lot of our teams, and we actually do the same thing. We kind of bring, guys in with a little tighter formation.
One of their best defenders is senior Nick Farrell, number 85. Just like you have to decide where your outstanding senior Harrison Snyder needs to line up for the best results for your defense, Dallas has the same decisions with Nick Farrell. Where are we likely to see him the most?
I mean, he moves around a little bit, but he's usually to the field side, and he's pretty dangerous. Like I said, they're linebackers. Like, I can't say enough about those guys. They play aggressive. I mean, their DBs are very, very aggressive. Their linebackers are, they take their steps towards the line, and they're playing run first, and that's what obviously wants to stop. So, but very well, like I said, very well coached. I mean, I don't care who they put out there. They're an aggressive team, run to the ball well, pursuit, and they're a tough team to beat.
Obviously, the best defense would be a good offense for your team. If you can keep the ball and go on long drives, you had 5 of 50 or more yards last week.
Right.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Like I said, they're very, very aggressive. We're going to try to run the ball. That's our strength of our offense. But like I said, we have to get Lear outside, Ethan a little bit outside, open them up a little bit, and not pack it in so much with their 3-4 linebackers.
Probably the biggest challenge since opening night at Southern Columbia.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was, no one knows what to expect the first game of the season and everything. And we didn't play very well. We're much improved, but so is Dallas. I mean, like I said, I'm real impressed. They don't make many mistakes. They do the same thing over and over again and do it very, very well. And that's the philosophy, I think, is a success in high school. You're not very complicated, but you do things. Look at Southern. They don't run many blitzes. They run the same amount of offensive plays, but they do it very, very well. They execute, and that's the bottom line in high school.
Listen for another edition of the Coach Bennett Show prior to next Friday's game against Danville at Crispin Field. Stay tuned now for Berwick and Dallas football here on Pop Radio.
You've been listening to the Coach Bennett Show. Brought to you by Blaze Alexander Family Buick GMC of Bloomsburg, Lehigh Valley Health Network, Eco First, Mason Monogram, MD Accounting, Nespoli Jewelers, Reds Roofing, SJ Kowalski, Neighbor Fence Company, Mayo Funeral Home, Bob's Subs, Preferred Portables, Independence Ford, Flick Brothers Electric, First Columbia Bank and Trust, and W&L Subaru, Nissan, Mazda, and Collision Center. Stay tuned for Berwick football on Pop Radio and streaming all over the world at thisispopradio.com.